This is Mile High.
Do I want to tell the story or do I want to show the message?
You've got a lot of work to do between Mile High.
The time has come where we can know
we have a responsibility, an ethical and moral responsibility.
We have to do it better in order to move people along.
Up, down, inside out.
And if you get your mind right, it is not. It is a receiver of thought. Because love is my first technique.
it's now time for the show.
LWP Inner Circle Mentor Episode Anniversary Edition. And it's not the LWP anniversary, it's our anniversary. So, as you join us live, please let us know that you're live by saying where you are watching from, because we'll see comments pop up, and give it a thumbs up and a heart. So, Richelle and I are super excited to do this month's February, the month of love, mentor episode together. This is not something we often do.
Yeah.
So you get two for the price of one. Okay?
Because we're actually together.
Because we're actually together. Because it's not like Clark Kent and Superman, we're not in the same place, right? You never see together. So we're in Hawaii and Kauai for our anniversary. And it's been a little bit since we've had a vacation. So we're very excited for that.
That isn't visiting family or
a seminar.
Those things, yes.
So, and so we're very grateful to get our 25th wedding anniversary together. And we said, we've got to do this week's episode. How are we going to do it? And we decided to do an anniversary edition live with beautiful Kauai in the background.
You might see some surfers back there.
Yes, you may. If you look closely beyond
you can see
us.
them right
Yep.
there.
So thank you for watching it, whether you're watching it live with us or on the app at some point, or maybe you'll watch it as a Mile High podcast. Who knows? However, we're going to go share vital things about practicing together, practicing in relationship with others, okay, whether it be the spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, is associate is
partner, friend,
whatever it is, and really the building blocks of our practice. Okay, so we're excited to share that with you. Also, without any further, before we even start that, I want to say, hey, join us in April for our new patient explosion. So if you have not reserved for that yet, what are you waiting for?
Yes.
We're going to pull out all the stops in terms of how you have more new patients in your office. LifetimeWellnessRegistration.com. And so make sure you reserve there. Look, Jackie's already joining us.
Jackie.
Yay, Jackie. So, and also, if you're watching live, ask questions in the comments. Maybe you'll steer us in a different direction in terms of the conversation that we wrote out, the conversation we're going to talk.
We kind of wanted to do this unplugged, though, and just really, when you're in paradise.
A little less structure.
and a little
less
more
structure.
fun.
A little less structure. So, so if you have things that, the conversations, you want to ask about that, please say it in the comments so we know who's watching, where you're watching from, and what topics you want to cover.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the journey from start to now in terms of running a practice, what our experience was. We think people are going to learn a lot from that. So I just said the anniversary edition.
Right.
Now, I introed. What do you want to say?
Well, we're having a great time. And thank you to all of our friends who, I know Darren pulled it together to get us a nice dinner last night. We were pleasantly surprised. We're having a great time. We're relaxing. We're excited to be on and sharing this with you. If you haven't been to Kauai, it's worth it. It's so beautiful here. It's absolutely amazing. And we're going to talk about those things. Something that's interesting is our journey together as a couple. We don't know what it's like to not practice together. And, Jackie's watching from a Thai restaurant. I love that. We love you too. And so, we opened 25 years ago, right after we got married. We got married, and then we opened November 1st of 1999. And at the time, we were living in your parents' basement. We found out we were going to have Danny like 5 months after we got married. So we thought we were going to travel or pay off our student loans and
Practice
all that. Practice together. And
newly married couples.
yeah, that only happened for a little while, right? Because Danny was born then in April. And we've always basically practiced as one chiropractor because we always said that we didn't want someone else to raise our kids. And there were definitely times throughout the time that we were both there, but just kind of very short-lived, right? And some of the things that I think made that possible for us is having the clinical CA. So for those of you, you know, we're really big on team, right? We're really big on that. And that was probably one of the biggest things, having a clinical CA, that made a huge difference in our practice. But, you know, it's, we don't fight a lot, right? Like it's, believe me, we've had rough times. So I'm not saying that everything's perfect. And for those of you that are out there,
it's not all roses.
It's not all roses, but it's worth it. And we think very similar also when it comes to how we do business and running a practice and how we treat people and how we coach and stuff like that. We're on the same page, and that makes a difference. I think it's really good to bring different perspectives also. Like sometimes when our kids do complain, I have to say, that we talk shop a little bit too much. But we were even talking about that today. Like when you love what you do, it becomes work-life integration instead of work-life balance, right? So you're excited about what you do. You're excited about, you know, people that you're mentoring or coaching and how much better their practices are doing or something fun they got to do. So it's like you're celebrating a lot too. And so if you are a couple and you do work together, and whether it be that you're both in the same office but you do different businesses, or you're both chiropractors, or one's an office manager running the office, or however you do it, you just have to keep lines of communication open. Like that's the most important thing, right? Like you have to talk about it, and you also have to have fun, because if you don't have fun, that's not good, right?
No, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Remember that from The Shining. Actually, you said two things that were really important. That let's go for both of them. One's fun, and the other is clinical stay in a team. So, and then we had X number of months before we, you know, had Danny, so we had to get things going.
Right.
Fun and vacation. Let's mention that first, and then go back to running the office. So, vacation. We're on vacation right now, and I will tell you that we had a little bit too long without a vacation that was just us.
Yes.
We had vacations that were work, like we would teach a summer and a stay,
and then
stay for a few days, which is great. That's a real joy that we have that possibility. And we had family vacations where it was, you know, you see your family for the holidays, but it's been a little bit too long to have a vacation that was not just us. And I've been, you've heard me say many times about being a vacation expert or vacation master. And this is my recommended vacation schedule. On almost all our married life career, we did almost exactly this pretty much every year, which is that we would take, this is what I recommend you do, all right, is we would close our office, completely close for 2 particular weeks, all right, which is the 4th of July and also Christmas. Christmas Day to New Year's, period, closed. Don't try to do anything. Just close those weeks, the week of the 4th of July and the week of Christmas. Just completely closed down.
The office itself needs a reboot.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, and you can have a staycation, you know, if you have student loan debt or you're, you know, and you can't get to see family or whatever, you can, if, you know, you live in Texas, you can go up into the hills or go to the water or whatever it is, or stay home and relax and read your favorite book or clean your house. I mean, whatever
like,
it is.
Minimally do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to be going to Aruba.
Right.
And you can say like, well, it's just me and I can work and I can see patients and I need the money. Don't do that. Just complete. Your patients need a vacation from you. Your office needs a
They
reboot.
also, one of the things that I always see is that the patients say, oh my gosh, I'm really glad I'm glad you went away because you had time off or had some time off. It also made me realize how much I value the care and I can't live without it. So there's actually a lot of it that is strategic too.
It's a benefit.
It's a benefit in terms of people realize and notice what a difference it makes. And in their lives, I couldn't wait for you to be back.
I'm so glad you're back.
And then they'll come in extra before and after you get back. That's how you handle it. So.
And then in addition to that is I recommend between those times you also take a week off, all right, and do spring break and somewhere around Thanksgiving, if not just Thanksgiving, and get an office coverage doctor. You don't have to close. We don't close. We get an office coverage doctor. But 4 solid weeks out of the office, you have to become a vacation master. And those are minimum. Find a way to get 4 weeks out of your office. I cannot emphasize enough. And then if you take it to another level, which is good, if you can get more time out of your office because you have that level of organization, more power to you, okay? Then even just an extended weekend in between those times. So if you say you close 1 extra day on the weekend, Monday or Thursday or whatever, just that it's vital. And understand for people that are 25 years in practice, we know what it's like when you don't do that. Right? And your practice results are going to pay the price. And you're going to feel burned out.
Yes.
So wherever you are in practice, if you're not doing that, we're going into New Year, recommend you slate that on your calendar, just like you're slating out your marketing.
Correct.
Just make sure it happens. Okay?
And at least do the 2 weeks and then take extended weekends if you can't do the 4 weeks at first. Right?
Exactly.
At least do the week between Christmas and New Year's and the week of the 4th of July, and then take a couple, the first quarter of the year and the, spring and fall, take, a long weekend. Could it be like you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're off Thursday and Monday, and then you work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the next week. So you've got a nice long weekend. You can travel if you want. You can drive somewhere, or you can do a staycation. But it's just really important for you to rest and recharge.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many people they take that for granted and don't do it.
And I see Ian's on it.
Oh my God!
He's an expert because the Europeans know how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like if you don't live in the U.S., you know how to vacation, right? And so it's us, those of us in the U.S. that don't go on holiday enough.
So again, let us know where you're watching from, city, state, and your questions in the comments. So next thing was you talked about us getting married and then having Danny in April. Right. So November we open because we're helping you the journey from where we started to where we got to, and so you can speed up that learning curve. So we opened, and we thought it was going to just be us for a long time. And
I would do front desk, he would adjust, and then we'd switch. He'd do front desk, and I'd adjust.
And it just didn't work out that way. And so here's what happened. Look, we've always been team-driven because we were the team. We didn't have anybody else, but we were the team, right? So we would alternate who was front desk and who was adjusting or doing exams. And I knew while she was pregnant that I would really be an awful, awful front desk person. I would be horrible, right? I knew it was not my skill set and would just be an absolute disaster if I was running an office by myself. And I knew there was only so much time until she was not going to be there because she was going to have a little one and we wanted to, do this together. And I said, this is the deal. I have to get a front desk person before she gave birth. And it was going to go from November until April. And that was all the time I had. So I just put the pedal to the metal to the point that I have to make enough money to cover our individual expenses. And contrary to Barry belief, people were not handing stuff to us.
No, I know people think
people
that
think that
reason.
we were handed money. We
we have all of our offices filled with people that
Donnie referred to us. It's not the case.
That happens once or twice a year.
Yeah. So so we're like, I just was on a mission that I have from November to April to get a CA, and we were screening every week. in a grocery store. We were doing newsletters and mailings and knocking on like, everything you could do.
Right.
Open houses, like it was nonstop. Because we got to the budgetary amount in, what is that, 6 months,
Right.
that we could hire our first front desk person. And
Correct.
so my recommendation is that you can do something staffless, most certainly, and people that do that, and you can do it, and ask yourself, how long do you want to do it by yourself?
Yes.
How long do you want it to just be you? And how much impact do you want to make? Because there's only so much impact you can make just being you. I had a bigger vision to see more people, and you know, I said this timeline. I said 6 months. We're going to refer CA. Wherever you are in practice, you can do that. Maybe it's 6 months to get your second team member.
Right.
All right, like what you said, a clinical assistant, or maybe 6 months. I'm going to have an associate. You just have to all in for whatever the next tier is of growth that you're going to have that next thing. And that's what we did. And by the time that there was a week that Danny was born, we had enough resources to hire our first front desk person.
And the other thing about that too is if you're external, right? For those of you, you do better in community, right? So it's people I feel like can get super lonely if they don't. Yes, you have your practice members. But to have somebody that's there that you're bouncing things off of, like, hey, this happened with this person. How did you handle it? What would you do? It's just, I love that we've always practiced together. I love that we have Patrick and Sarah with us now, and Amanda and Trina. But you always had like a team member that was there that you felt like you weren't alone, that somebody was part of it with you other than just us too.
So you know, you only, if you're to grow, whatever your next level is, the key to it is bringing someone else in. Like there's things that we know are our next level from where we are, and they involve bringing other mentors for us in, or people to do different things that I want to work on. We can't do it by ourselves. We have to bring something into it. So wherever you are, there's some aspect of what your next level is, and you're gonna keep circling the same level of the mountain. You're not gonna go up it unless you bring someone else in. Right? So just realize that and make a commitment, whether it be a quarter, a year, 6 months, that this is where I know I want to get to, and then map out what it is and understand it's really a financial thing. For us, to get our first CA, it was like a financial decision. We had enough money. So we didn't get a new car. We rode to the office by bicycle. We didn't get fancier food. We had a baby to pay for. You know?
We did get a scooter at one point.
Yes, we got a scooter because that was all we can afford, and we switched off on the scooter.
Until I was pregnant. And we were like, we should probably have a car with Annika.
Right. So you know, it just becomes, it's a financial thing to say, I need this amount of money to get the next team member or coach or whatever it is, and I'm going to do it because I know it's going to help me get to the next level.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would say for those docs that are just starting out, or you know, that maybe you're doing an office reboot, or you lost a staff member, something happened, it's take your keep your overhead low.
Ian wants us to reduce the volume of the shirts.
I know we got the Hawaiian.
You know, we're turning them up, but we look forward to seeing you in Melbourne.
Exactly. The other thing is to keep your overhead low. You know, people. You see, and it's a social media thing, right? You see these big, beautiful offices, and I love them, and I love us aesthetics and the way things look, and, you know, plants and decorated and everything. And a lot of people do that, and they do it on their own. We painted our walls. We did so much even in this office, we did a lot of stuff on our own. You saw me putting up letters on the front desk, you know, because I enjoy that. I like to do that. But if you can do it on a shoestring when you first start, especially if you have a ton of student loan debt, you can make things beautiful. It can be small, and you just want to keep your overhead low. Because if you keep your overhead low, then you have more profit. Then you're able to pay the student loans off and get a CA and ultimately get a different space and all that stuff. You grow into it, right? And some of you already are in your dream space and dream practice, and it's awesome. And some of you are just, you know, we have some students or people just starting out, or people who moved and rebooted their practice or whatever, but it's just keep your overhead low so you can have more profit, so that you can then start to pay down the student loans and get a CA and get a new space down the line. So, you know, one of the things Peter Kevorkian has been a mentor of ours over the years, and he was Danny did his internship with Peter and Patty in Massachusetts, and he said the type of practices that we have, right, like wellness-based practices, I don't know if wellness is way overused, right? So, holistic practices, vitalistic,
not a pain
whatever,
center.
not a pain center.
Not a pain insurance.
Right, that it's harder at first, it's harder to grow, but easier to sustain.
Right, it's harder to get the rocket off the ground, it takes a lot of fuel, then once you're in orbit, it's easier.
Yes, so you keep, you know, you have these lifetime wellness practice members, you have these people that have been with you for years, and they are the backbone, we say, of the practice, right? And new patients are the lifeline. So, lifeblood. So you want to, you know, get it takes time to build, but it's a lot easier to sustain. So that's one of the things I'd recommend too. Keep your overhead low, and just keep on keeping on. Right.
So now going further on that, we talk about being a vacation master. So taking care of you, all right, taking care of you is vital. That's part of taking care of you. Another part of taking care of you is having a team, so that you're not doing everything and you can focus on what you do.
Right.
Like, I want to spend as much possible doing two things: talking, okay, which is talking to practice members, explaining chiropractic, talking to them about their recommendations, and using these, like adjusting people.
Yes.
I want to, and the less I do of other things, the more I can give my gift.
Focus on your gift and
Right.
your magic. Yeah.
So if you're deciding that you're doing stuff that someone else can do for $20 an hour, or whatever the hourly rate, then you're actually underpaying yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So, and people do that versus saying, you know, I can make $500, $1,000, whatever, an hour, and why am I doing this thing that someone else can do for $20 an hour? Or $30, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're still underpaying your gift. So having that realization versus not taking those steps, once you have the resources, you're actually, you know, like, not to say this negatively, because look, people can do your lawn work, like, and they'll do it for cheaper, and they'll do it better than if you do it.
What your hourly wage
is as a chiropractor. So the same thing with your office staff. So part of that is being smart business, but it really is also part of taking you, because otherwise you'll be exhausted, you'll be no use to your practice members, and your office will be a drain.
And, you know, let's be real and realistic. We're not perfect either, right? And we're your mentors, but, like, we're in it with you. I always say we're in the trenches, right? Because we have to kick ourselves and say, wow, it took our 25th wedding anniversary. We need to do this more often. We need to take better care of ourselves, because we enjoy what we do so much that we get lost in it sometimes, right? And so it's something that we're still working on and learning as well.
What do you want to say about what we did initially opening?
We did a lot. I mean, I think you covered it, right? We had a Alfalfa's, which was a market. I was pregnant. Right, we would do screenings there every single week. We did knocking on doors. We went to the Chamber of Commerce and went to those events.
Mind you, the internet was not a big deal.
It wasn't a big deal. Yes, but anything that we could do, that we could find, that we could get our hands on to get around people and tell them about what it is that we did it. And we didn't do it seeing that we were burnt out or overwhelmed or it was too much or we were working too hard. We felt like, even pregnant, I was doing screenings pregnant, right? Like, we felt like it was so important. The message.
Did screenings with Danny on your.
I did. I know, exactly.
In the sun.
Exactly. So I think that we just were on such a mission because we loved what we did so much and we were so passionate about it that it didn't seem like work to us to grow our practice. It was just something that we did and we loved it so much.
Right.
So,
right. Well,
yeah.
so there's the next thing. Is people don't know. So it comes to new patients, all right? So this is why we're doing the new patient event, new patient explosion.
Right.
Again, lifetimewellnessregistration.com if you want to get the details, you want to be there in April. Is that understand, people don't know. I know this is mind-blowing to you as a chiropractor.
Yeah.
They don't know they have a spine, and they don't know it's important for their life.
Correct.
We live in that, so we know that. We're so entrenched in that.
That you forget.
You forget.
What the general public's perception is.
They don't know that they have a spine and has something to do with their health at all. Okay? They only know about it if it hurts.
Yes.
Now, so what happens is, I'll give you an example. My biological dad, not Donnie, he is a medical doctor. When I was growing up, I worked in his lab, okay, in the hospital. And I did this for one summer, and I walked in a lab and I saw like body parts. I kid you not, there was like cut off legs and cut off arms because they were doing biopsies. And I thought I was so shocked as a young teen about it. And he was telling me, well, this person had cancer. Like, I was so shocked the person had cancer. I was like, but he was so blasé about it. Like, oh yeah, they had cancer, they had this, they died. But it was like, so what happens is you get numb to the things around it. You don't realize it. You don't realize that people don't know they have a spine, and they don't know that has something to do with their health. So when we say you have to do a screening or a talk, it doesn't mean they have to do physically a screening. You have to introduce people to the fact that they have a spine, and that's something to do with their health. You can do the talks. You do a community event. You can do a physical screening. You can do a screening in your office.
You do you.
You do you.
You find something that's authentic to you. Right?
You do or all of those things where you do emails or do blogs or do a newsletter. You have to constantly broadcast that you have a spine and has something to do with your health, and somehow you have to get introduced to it.
And there's no magic genie.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks it's just going to be the one thing, right? You have to find what works for you.
So we, have lots of ways that we introduce a person to that, so then they think, I value my health. Maybe I should get checked as to what my spine looks like. Mm-hmm. They're getting introduced to what that is in terms of their health and well-being. Okay? So that's what you're doing when you're doing all those things, right? And we still do that because it's your job as an educator, okay, as a doctor and educator,
to teach people what you do, right? So I think we're just about done, because I got to be honest with you, we have a date with Honolulu Bay. So as much as I love you guys, it's my 25th wedding anniversary week, and I want to get back out there.
So we're gonna go there. And here's the thing: when we teach new patient exposure, we're going to teach you all the different steps that we do to introduce a person to their spine, so you get more people than you ever had before as new patients to your office. Because, as you said, the wellness patients are the backbone of your practice. We're at a point where now our staff can run the office themselves, okay, and our wellness patients will cover the overhead. However, you need to have new blood come in, and that's your new patients. Yeah. So
we're going to be covering that.
We're going to be covering that in that
event. Register, guys. It's going to be awesome. It's back in Colorado. It's at that really cool hotel with the round lights that everybody loved that looks like gateways.
Yes.
And so, this is in Honolulu Bay. We're going to Honolulu Bay. This is
but we'll go to the Tiki
Kauai Beach.
So here's the thing. Right now we're at sea level, and we look forward to seeing you in Mile High territory in April. Okay. And we're very grateful to
We're so grateful for you guys, and we're so grateful for everybody that pitched in for our 25th anniversary dinner. And we love Lifetime Wellness Practice. We love the Inner Circle. We love the people that we mentor. We genuinely, truly feel so grateful and honored to give everything we can to make things better for your life.
And for people's trust in us.
Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing April. Look forward to seeing you in September at Mile High. And also mark your calendar for when you mark all those vacations off, okay, that you're going to take. Also mark November 16th for being with us at the next Lifetime Wellness module. So keep changing spines, lives, and minds with chiropractic.
Love you guys.